Ranking the most overrated wrestlers in WWE, men and women. You guys know the rules. You already know the rules. First off, we're going to go ahead and get into this. This is main roster only. It's about the only rules. These are just wrestlers I think are either maybe overrated in some ways, extremely overrated, the most overrated, the inspiration for this video, and everywhere in between. First up, Big John. Your time has come. John Cena. I love John Cena, to me, the GOAT. I think with age and everything that's happened, maybe overrated slightly in some ways. Maybe us wanting him to win the Rumble, win every championship in WWE, we might have been overrating his last year. Maybe that's not the best decision. For that, I say slightly overrated. Next up, Nia Jax. Nia Jax, if I make an underrated list, you might be on that list. In fact, you might be pretty high up. But it's gotten to the point where there's a good amount of people defending her so much that she's become overrated by some people. Just a few people, though. Next up, we got Bayley. Bayley is very overrated to me. I think Bayley is so slow. I think she's cringe on the mic. I'm sorry. I think she's pretty cringe on the mic. She makes me feel uncomfortable when she's talking, when she's hating on people, when she's calling them big idiots and big dummies. It makes me uncomfortable. And I think she botches a lot, especially in that NXT match the other week. Next up, Becky Lynch. I'm sorry. That's all I can say. Becky Lynch, one of the 4 GOATs of the women's division all time, in my opinion. I think she's overrated on the mic. That's my issue with her. People see her say this and that. Like when she said, what'd she say? She told John Cena that he couldn't see her or something. I thought it was cringe, big cringe. Everybody's like, oh, I think it's cringe. I don't think Becky's as good on the mic as people say for that. I think she's a little overrated. Just to fix things, we're gonna... Next up, Sami Zayn. You knew you were gonna be on this list. Super Sami Homeless Hogan. We knew he was gonna be on this list. In fact, no, he's not getting a tier of his own. But he is going to be in the pretty overrated category. Super Sami Homeless Hogan gets booked into heaven. He gets booked to win and win. He's actually been taking L's. So I'm pretty hypocritical by saying this. But Super Sami Homeless Hogan, you belong in pretty overrated. CM Punk, little overrated. CM Punk, it's an age thing to me. People act like he's the GOAT. They want him to do this, main event WrestleMania. Everyone badly wants him to main event WrestleMania. Why? Well, what has he done to earn that? He left the company. Seth Rollins is right. Everything Seth says, right. Punk, I love Punk. I can't get enough of his promos, even though I think it's kind of getting a little bit repetitive with some of the things he's saying. It's still hype every time. I love it. I think he's not as good in the ring as people say lately. I know he's put on bangers with Drew. A lot of that due to Drew. I think he gets slightly overrated. Next up, Jey Uso. Now they're all wondering where Jey Uso's going on this list. They saw the thumbnail. They want to know where Jey is going to go. I'm just kidding. Jey, I'm saying little overrated. Look, I'm a Jey fan. I just think he gets overrated. I don't want him to be a world title holder right now. I think there's better options, lots of better options. But you can't hold it against the crowd. He's hype, he's fun. I think he's a little overrated in some way. I don't really enjoy his matches that much. That's what I fear the Gunther match for. I don't think he's as good as he used to be on the mic anymore. I think it's a little overrated. I could say anywhere up here and a lot of people would be happy. We're putting him right here. Next up, the Aura Merchant herself, Jade Cargill. Pretty overrated. I don't think we've gotten to see enough of her. I think once we see more of her, it will feel more valid. The glaze she gets, the absolute glaze this woman gets. She hasn't done anything yet. She hasn't put on a 5-star. I think we have to see more of her. But she gets glazed into oblivion. It's crazy. Next up, Uncle Howdy. I think he's pretty overrated. I'm not really for the gimmick a whole lot as I used to. I was for about the first 2 weeks, and then it kind of fell off to me. And then they're not getting booked either, so it's not, everybody wants them back. Everybody wants them to get booked better. Maybe they're not a very big draw. And, it's hard to do something with a character like this. But I do love it, I promise. Next up, Michin. Very overrated. Why do we want her to win the U.S. title so bad? I don't get it. I don't like her matches. I don't think she talks well on the mic. There's no gimmick. I don't know what to say. But speaking of the U.S. title, Chelsea Green. They want to know where Chelsea Green is going. If they should rage, throw a fit or not. I think she's a little overrated. I think she's great on the mic. I think her character, she works it really well. I think she's kind of sloppy in the ring. That's unfortunate. But that's about all. Next up, Butch. Very overrated. I think Pete Dunne. I don't like the finger limb twisting gimmick. I don't like it. I've never liked it. I don't think it works. He does the same spots every single match with that same gimmick. Every single match he has. I don't like it. I think it's boring. He's not good on the mic at all. He's little. I don't like Pete Dunne. Next up, Braun Strowman. Pretty overrated. I like Braun. I really do. I like his deep voice lately. You know I had Jacob Fatu in there, Damian. Braun, you're just getting booked to squash everyone, and I know he's getting L's, but he shouldn't have eliminated Jacob in the Rumble like that. He's not that guy anymore. He's getting up there in age. His career, it's getting up there. He's not that guy anymore. He's slow. He's getting really slow and stiff, but it is Braun Strowman. Next up, Santos Escobar. Not a fan of Santos at all. I don't know what to say. I'm not a fan of Santos at all. I think he's boring on the mic. His problem is he was on uphill after the heel turn, and then Andrade decides to come into WWE and say, I'm you, but I'm 10 times better in every single possible way. And then Andrade started aura merching, and here we are. Next up, Dakota Kai. Pretty overrated. People want her to beat Lyra Valkyria. Lyra will be in the underrated list, I promise you. Dakota lost to her twice. I'm happy with that. Really thought she was going to win that second time. Happy she lost. I don't like the kick she does. There's a kick that another woman does who's going to be pretty high up on this list in a little bit. But it's slow. It's uncomfortable. It doesn't look like it does the slightest damage at all. Not even for a WWE move. I don't like it. I don't think she's the best on the mic. She's really small, fragile. I do like the chiropractor, though. Next up, Damian Priest. Pretty overrated. He's going in pretty overrated, and we're actually going to bump Sami down. I'm sorry. Super Sami, maybe I was a little too harsh on you. Super Damian, though, this guy gets booked like Prime John Cena. Fathom that. This guy's getting coup de grace, and then coup de grace to the outside through a table and getting up in 3 seconds. 3 seconds. I don't know if that's a problem with him doing that, no selling, or it's the booking where he's supposed to do that, but it's not working. Next up, Kofi Kingston. I think he's a little overrated. I would have said he was more overrated in the past, but he's gotten some more hate lately, so we're doing a little overrated. I've never been a big Kofi guy, Kofi Mania and everything. I thought he was definitely overrated around that time, and you know what? I'm happy Brock beat him in like 2 seconds. Next up, Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke is going to go into the very overrated category. He's not what he used to be. He's not this indie god who got brought into WWE with all the hype in the world. He's just not. His promos, I like them in a way. I don't think they're that good. And unfortunately, when he speaks English, I don't like them at all. When he speaks in his actual language, I think the promos are fire. But people they want this guy to win titles. They wanted him to beat Seth last year. Where would he have gone with Seth? Look what he's done with the US title. Next up, Zoe Stark. Some ways you thought she was going to be higher. No, because nobody likes her. But I think she gets overrated in some ways, because there's some glazers out there. There's some people that think Zoe needs to leave PSC, do higher things. I agree. I'm actually one of those people. But some people take it too far. And for that, you're in here. She's not that good. And finally, the GOAT of overrated, the person you all waited for. It's Naomi, man. Naomi, the inspiration for this video. I don't understand it. She gets glazed so much. She's not that good. She's slow. I think she's sloppy. That stupid over the head kick she does where she bit. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Her, Dakota Kai do it. Someone else that I think does it. I can't stand it. I don't think it looks good. I don't like her moveset. She just feels so slow and sloppy, and there's botches. I can't do it, man. I can't. Speaking of botches, that's why she's here. I can't do it. Naomi, I think she's so overrated. I don't think she should be anywhere close to that world championship picture, and I think that's what Triple H sees, and that's why she's not getting booked up there. That's for certain people. Her two partners, Jade and Bianca, absolutely. Not Naomi.